I am an exited founder turned investor. From the past 2 weeks, taking phone calls from my home, I've made more money than I ever did in my whole life, or partially the past 10 years, building my own company. And this is not a small company. This company got backed by renowned investors and generated dozens of millions of dollars. 2 weeks ago, a family office brought $25 million of Anthropic shares, and I was one of the advisors on the side of this transaction. This week, SpaceX went public. This happens to be apparently the largest IPO in history of capitalism. And that position in that IPO, alongside the commissions I've made from Anthropic, returned even more capital than my entire exit from 10 years grinding and building the company I have founded. And the pipeline behind me, the deals being worked on right now, runs into the hundreds of millions. So how can I make more for the past 2 weeks than my entire family made in 3 generations? It's not because I'm smarter than any of my family members, my fathers, my grandfathers. They worked harder than I probably ever will. It's because there's been a race going on for a while now. A quiet race to control the very idea of money itself and the flow of it for the next decade. And the outcome of that race will determine what your money is worth for the rest of your life. Most people around you will never even hear about this. Yesterday, on June 12th, SpaceX listed on the Nasdaq under the ticker SpaceX. It priced initially at $135 a share, and then opened at $150 and closed near $161, up 19% on day one only. That values the company at over $2 trillion. It raised $75 billion in a single offering day. This, my friends, is the largest IPO ever in the history of capitalism. Bigger than Saudi Aramco, bigger than Alibaba and Nvidia. And it made one man the first trillionaire ever on earth, Elon Musk. Now, there is the part the news will not explain to you. The wealth creation wasn't created yesterday. The people who got rich yesterday actually got rich by investing in 2015. These people are the small circle of early buyers into those privately owned companies. These family offices, high net worth individuals that I have been sitting with for the past 10 years with my work. By the time SpaceX reached the public market, it has already multiplied hundreds of times in private hands. Cash flow positive since 2015, $18 billion of revenue before the entry of a public investor even had a chance to touch it. For us, investors, the IPO is not the opportunity. For us, the IPO yesterday was actually the exit. The people exiting yesterday, the ones selling into your enthusiasm, are the small circle I've spent the last 5 years sitting with. Family offices, high net worth individuals, and billionaire dynasties, holders of capital. I call this the quiet money. To understand what's happening, you have to zoom out. You will have to zoom way out. Money has never been a fixed thing. Money is whatever the dominant empire of an era says it is. And every time that empire changes, the definition itself of money changes with it. The families who see the chance early multiply their capital. The families who don't get quietly diluted generation after generation. The first empire was basically grabbing land. Think of the American Manifest Destiny. Wealth was created and gained from men who took it, who walked it, from farms to fight battles. If your family held land, your family held power for hundreds of years at a time. In the US, the first families like Washington, for example, grabbed the land and then sold it to the new colonists. That was the first empire. The second empire was industry. Steam, steel, rail, oil, the empires of Britain and then America. Money became machines, and the gold that financed them. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies were not better farmers. They simply understood that the definition of wealth had moved, and they moved first as a player of that game. The third empire was finance. 1971, with the Accords of Mexico, the dollar leaves gold. Money becomes paper, then pixels. Wealth becomes stocks, bonds, real estate, pensions. The empires of Wall Street is born. This is the empire your parents were raised in. Buy the index, buy stocks, work in a corporate, buy a house, trust the 401k. It worked for a while because the system needed your participation. And now the fourth empire is being built. This territory is not land, not factory, not paper. This territory is energy, compute, robotics, and space. The physical infrastructure, the intelligence that the next 20, 30, 50 years operating system of the world will run on. Data centers that consume the power of entire nations. Rockets that lower the cost of reaching space 100-fold. Robots entering warehouses and factories. Nuclear powers signing deals with Microsoft and Google for the data centers. These are the vital industries that are shaping the next century. And here is the defining feature of the fourth empire. The thing you really need to understand now is that the people owning this infrastructure are the people that are going to actually own the infrastructure we will use, your kids will use for the next 20 to 50 years. When you look into that new industrial revolution we're witnessing now, this quiet renaissance, mainly it's privately founded, privately owned. And this is your opportunity as a private investor to actually participate into it right now. Anthropic, OpenAI, XAI, when it was actually affordable to invest in these companies, well, you were just not invited to the table yet. The third empire lets you participate. The fourth empire so far does not. So where is the race actually happening? It's happening in a market most people have never heard of. It's called private equity. Specifically, private secondaries allocation in energy, robotics, AI, and space infrastructure. Yes, like SpaceX, for example, but also like Aptronic, Figure AI, and others. Here is how it works in plain language. When a company like SpaceX or Anthropic stays private for 2 decades, early employees and early funds eventually need liquidity. They can't wait forever for an IPO, so they'll sell their shares privately to a family office buyer in negotiated transactions to whoever has access to it. Who has access? A very small circle of family offices and high net worth individuals. The wealthiest and the intermediaries that they might trust. For the past 5 years, my work has been inside these circles, hosting those people, advising them on deals, sourcing alongside them where to deploy capital and how to get their access allocations to the best rate. I've sat for the past few years with hundreds of family offices. I've watched deals get done alongside the family offices of the Walton family of Walmart, alongside Jeff Bezos, alongside Eric Schmidt, alongside names like Rockefeller that built the last empire and are now shaping quietly to buy the next one. While the public argued about inflation, interest rate, and jobs, this circle has been accumulating the equity of the fourth empire at private prices. SpaceX secondaries traded hands for years at fractions of yesterday's cost. The people were not gambling, they were slowly buying ownership of your future. Conclusion. 3 generations of my family worked with their own hands. I respect that more than anything I do today. But very recently, the game changed. And nobody sent them the new rules. Nobody received the memo that the number of hours you put in your work is not going to define your success in life anymore. This is why I'm making this video series. This is why I want to talk more about the quiet money. In the coming videos, I will take you inside what I've learned over the past few years among this quiet money, these small circles of family offices. How do they think actually? How secondaries and deals actually trade? How the vital industries are being financed and by whom? What I saw sourcing and co-investing alongside some of the wealthiest families in the world is in this channel. If you want to learn more about the family offices co-investing into that new industrial revolution, follow our channel, The Quiet Money. See you soon.